The year is 2002. 10 years ago, a group of high school students graduated. They left their school and went on in life. They left Richland High School. But what did the class of 1992 really leave behind? A legend? A legacy? A scar? Or a nightmare? Here today we are in search of the answers to these exact questions. Here it is, 10 years later. Some still carry the wounds. Others struggling day to day, haunted by the memories. One thing is certain. People remember the class of 92. Fold, spindle, mutilate. Explain.
You're not supposed to tear up your test or anything like that. You're supposed to just hand your test in when you're done.
Really? The money jar.
Money jar was anytime you said something that you weren't supposed to, like swear words or insults to Mr. Potter, you had to pay for it.
Isn't that true that you also contributed to that money jar?
More than once.
Don't you see this as extortion?
No, it was a great way to get goodies at the end of the year.
What about the said pizza parties?
They all happen.
And where are the receipts for this?
Receipts? We don't need any receipts.
Okay, Roller Cat, please explain.
Roller Cal was born in the age of roller disco. That's about it.
What is it for?
Roller Cal is the representation of biology.
Okay.
Roller Cal is biology.
And how do you use Roller Cal?
Roller Cal is used to explain everything that there is to know about biology.
That's sick. That is just sick.
Yes.
Listening to me, right? No, I don't think so. You listen to me all the time.
Yeah, we do. Yes, we do.
Okay, that's good. Okay. Number one, I do not share my pencils. These are my pencils right here. And I've got a pen right here, and my pencil is right over here because you steal them. You guys stole all my pencils. So I have a new rule, I don't share. You have to go to that box over there and get a pencil. Number two, I still make everybody listen to me. Number three, look at all the nice pictures I put up on the board, guys. I started out afterwards. Sorry, I didn't get any of you guys. And I might look a little older, but on the inside, I'm not. I'm the same person as I was when you guys had me. Please don't put those lawn ornaments in my yard.
With keyboarding, did the students follow that direction, or did you find yourself having to constantly repeat to stop looking at the keyboard while typing?
I had to beat you. I think if you remember right, I have the same stick that I beat my kids this year with. I beat you guys with too.
Is that a form of violent
part of my
behavior? I can see that nothing has changed.
Nothing's changed. No, not
Thank
at all.
you so much. Can you tell me your name?
Meredith Smith.
And what do you teach here at RHS?
Mathematics, mostly algebra.
And let me just say one thing to you. Class of 92. What does this mean to you?
92?
Yeah.
The class of 92?
Yes.
Well, oh my gosh, where to begin? I remember having to be very creative on money allocations for dances and/or I remember leaving the building should Qualheim be near. I remember a lot of busy seniors. I remember standing out on my deck, even at home, with a lovely decorated yard next door. Many rolls of toilet paper. Many rolls of toilet paper. I knew there would be a happy household next door. Many times that senior year, as I recall, yes, the class of 92.
Was there emotional trauma that you sustained from this class?
I am just now, becoming functional. It was a long, many years before I could even say that number out loud, even as I speak math. We overlook 92. We just skip from 91 to 93. Any answers that have a 92, we round.
Mrs. Smith, can I please see your hands? Mrs. Smith, please let me see your hands. Yes, please. Let me see the nails. The people have a right to know. Let me see the fingernails.
Should I just show you one?
Is it true you do not have artificial nails anymore?
That is the truth.
And what happened?
Sadly. Well, gardening came into line. Got tired of cleaning them out, actually, so off they went.
Now, I have one more question for you. Through our investigations, we have found out that not only were you directly involved with some of the events that occurred in the class of 92, but you were a co-conspirator. What do you have to say in defense of that?
Without a lawyer present, I have been advised not to say a thing.
I see.
If we could reschedule this with him present.
Why can't you just answer the question?
Well, it's been a long 10 years, a hard 10 years, and things don't fade away here in Richland. We have long memories.
It's Mr. Peepo, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and you teach what class here at Richland High?
I teach 6 classes here.
Okay, and what are those?
Material science, technology.
Okay, and how did you get into material science?
Back in 1985, there were some students asking questions about materials. Those questions led to a letter to Dr. Bill Wiley. He invited me out to Battelle for a summer. That led to many summers, which led to a course, first course of this kind in high school.
Okay. Some call it an appreciation for science, others call it an obsession. You used your position of authority to sway these students into a cult-like frenzy towards the field of science. How do you defend that?
It's a passion for educating young people. Everybody be sure and go to the Dairy Queen and enjoy Dairy Queen ice cream. It's really all about kids. Kids seem to enjoy it, and the materials make hooks for kids. My own 3 kids have been through the program. There are some now working out in the Hanford area. If I was a student, that's kind of how I would want to learn. I'm not big on sitting behind chairs reading books. That's just part of the educational process.
And that is a scary thought, sir.
Yes.
Tell me about the donkey.
What it was is that some students that I think was asleep out or something stole a bunch of lawn ornaments and brought them to school. And that was one of the ornaments that was not claimed by the owner. And actually it was some teachers brought it up here and put it in my room because of something that they knew about me that I'm not going to tell you. And so that's how it got in my room.
Is it true that you are a Democrat?
Slash socialist, yes.
Okay. And because of this experience, do you now have this fear of donkeys?
Yes, I do have a fear of donkeys.
Okay, and is it true also that you have now reformed to Republican?
Yes, I have. I've seen the light.
Okay.
And there's something about asses, and I get along well now.
And so you can say that this was a very traumatic experience for you.
Yes, it was horribly traumatic.
I'm so sorry. I'm sure it must be difficult.
Horribly difficult.
I hope things are getting better now.
Somewhat better.
One of my most memorable years, I believe, was 1992. A graduating class. They were out of control. Some of the teachers haven't been the same since.
I have a couple of slogans that I have recovered during my investigative.
Okay.
R.I.P. Lions, bomb the Bulldogs. Wearing all black in a form of mourning rival teams. Proud of the cloud and nuke 'em till they glow.
Oh, jeez.
Was this really a normal group of high school students?
It was a conspiracy. I don't know what exactly was going on. I do know that I taught a leadership class. That some say that what's the meaning of the leadership class? It has nothing to do with anything. You got to have leaders. I mean, you can't make chicken salad out of chicken poop. And I'm sorry, Jim Cannon, ASB president. Where's he? Germany now. I don't know. Somewhere. Mm-hmm. Look at this. I want you to look at this. Class of 92, pan down here, 1996. This was a class of 1992's class gift. They didn't put down half a stair. So something happened. Actually, what happened, I'll give you the full truth. The class of 1992 had absolutely zero leadership. They didn't even have enough money or done enough time and effort planning and leadership to plan their class gift. So they had to give it to the class of 1996 to finish their job.
I have a couple other things that I have found.
I'm not done yet.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. I was given some information about some call traditions that occurred here at the school, and some of these I don't get it. You know, cleaning the bomb, licorice tug of war, eggnog chugging. I mean, weren't these were absolutely disturbed individuals?
These were activities that the leaders of our school planned.
Well, and were you not in charge of some form of that
you gotta
leadership?
give them some leeway. You can't, if I was to do it, it would have been a great activity.
Okay.
But I wouldn't have had some of those kinds of activities. I mean, those were very, those are junior high at best.
Isn't it true that you were one of the only teachers to predict the mayhem that was unfolding? And you tried to stifle some of these behaviors with a so-called leadership class, a class which had no real educational value.
Again, I'll go back to my original preface. You can't make chicken salad out of chicken broth. And you gotta have the kids. I mean, you can be the best teacher in the world. Deathbridge proves it every day. And if you don't have any students, I mean, at least they can read in Deathbridge's class. Leadership.
How is it right now discussing the events that occurred 10 years ago?
Well, we pretty much just forget about the 10-year. We've got class of 2002, awesome class. I mean, they are so far advanced in the class of 92 that we don't even like to think back. In fact, some of the teachers, bless their hearts, some of them have retired and blaming the class of 92 for some of their problems. Prozac came into vogue.
What happened to Mr. Reich?
He's a rancher.
And
He's scooping up that chicken doo-doo right now as we speak.
Is it true that he left because of the class of 92?
I think that may have had something to do with it. I think the class of 92 sent him over the edge.
Well, I appreciate your honesty, sir. I commend you for the work that you do on a daily basis. Thank you so much. I was told I could find Murphys around here somewhere. I'm looking for them. They're art teachers. Oh, there's Mrs. Murphy. Hi. I'm doing an investigative research on the class of 92 and the impact that they had on the staff at RHS. Isn't this your husband?
This is my husband, but we were just, we were drawing. We were drawing in there.
There was some graffiti on the wall that Josh Artist left, and we were just erasing that.
Yeah.
And, I think I saw Mike's Fowler name and number on the board.
Yeah,
I said something about a good time. I don't know.
Could I ask you guys a question?
Sure, go ahead.
So, how did the class of 92 affect your personal lives?
Oh, they taught us a lot of things.
Yeah.
This wasn't one of them, though.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sure the principal would like to know about this. Mr. Neal?
No.
Got your questions?
Yeah, I'm writing. Don't you peek.
What impacted?
No, you don't read. I read the questions.
I know, I'm just
Sit
kind of
back and listen.
prepping myself.
Okay. State your name.
My name's Steve Potter.
Okay, and what do you do here, Mr. Potter?
I'm the athletic director at Richland High School.
Okay, and in 1992, what was your position at this school?
1992, I was the assistant principal in charge of cops and robbers. In other words, I had to go around the school and be the hard ass to try to catch up with some of the seniors of that year. Specifically, that was my assignment, to watch the senior class at all times to make sure we tried to keep them in line.
Do you feel that you have failed in that job title?
Failed miserably. The class of 92 in the long tradition and history of Richland High School, 50-some years, has been informally among us Bomber alums and voted as the most incorrigible class in the 50-plus years of Richland's history.
Wow. Are you aware that this same group of students are getting together again?
Richland's a small community, and we pretty much try to keep on top of things in our little niche in this world, and we did hear that. It's there's been quite a growing opposition to allowing this down at City Hall, here at the Richland School District Administration Office, to sanctioning this particular gathering of these incorrigible people of 1992 graduating class. Legally we're not sure what the recourse can be and how we can keep this class out of our community, but right now it's in the works.
There's been some rumor floating around town that you guys are actually attempting to contact the governor of Washington State. Is that true?
Well, the governor's aware of it as well, as is the state Supreme Court. And again, short of legal attempts at stopping this event from happening, I do know that RPD, as well as the Washington State Patrol and the National Guard, have all been alerted as to the date, time, and a projected place of this reunion.
Let's step back a moment.
Okay.
What impacted you most that year?
What impacted me most that year, 1991-92. My therapist has tried to get me to wipe that year out. After extensive counseling, after the graduating class did leave the hallowed halls of Richland High School, that team of therapists actually suggested that I try to do everything in my power to forget that year totally. So to bring this back is very painful. You know, Jimmy Gannon playing soccer impacted me a lot because you know, he was fun to watch, as were all the guys, but none of them were very good athletes, and it tore deeply at my heart because they didn't win one league championship. But on the other side of the fence, and again I'm talking Montgomery and Perryman and Gannon and Blankenship and Courtney and Guzzi, you know, they didn't win anything, you know? So as much as we kind of liked them and watched them compete, they weren't very good athletes. The girls won everything. They were the all-sports best program in the Valley, and for a male chauvinist, who cared? But, you know, they did it, and they won track, softball, gymnastics, cross-country, and then competitive and all the rest of them. So that probably hurt me the deepest, and I've got the worst scar from that. But
Understandable.
it was traumatic.
And I commend you for the absolute courage and strength to sit here today and talk about this with such emotional scarring and damage.
Thank you.
I truly appreciate it, and may you recover well.
You know, if we can somehow keep this event from happening, and if not, then we'll just make the best of it. I'm sure there'll be precautions taken, and certainly those of us that have strong feelings about this particular class of 92 will do everything in their effort to attend to make sure that again our community is not left with yet another scar from the class of 92.
And that's exactly why we're here doing this, to make sure that everybody is aware. Thank you.
Give them all our worst.
Tell me your name.
My name is Mrs. McDermott.
And what do you teach here at Richland High School?
I teach foods, creative foods. I teach fabric arts and interior design.
Were you here the year 1992?
I was here in 1992. I remember it well.
And how did that class affect you emotionally or your teaching?
You know, I've never been the same since that year. I could tell a few stories.
So let me ask you this. Is it difficult now discussing these events that occurred over 10 years ago?
Well, you know, I've tried to blot them from my memory, but yeah, it's a little difficult. You know, I've had things like I can remember somebody taking a lemon meringue pie and dumping it over into the bottom of the oven.
Anybody ever get seriously injured?
We did have a fire in the walk.
And that alone must have been very traumatic.
We had to run out the back door with the flaming wok.
Difficult.
Yes, you know.
It amazes me that you are still able to teach after all of that trauma.
You know, I'm probably missing a few of the brain cells that I had back in 1992. I'm not sure, just because of all the trauma that I've had. The knives and the
and just being with that group of students, it was probably difficult to trust them with half of the kitchen instruments located in here.
Yeah, and then I had to keep going and cleaning out the cupboards and cleaning out the drawers because they wouldn't put things in the right places.
Now, I've spoke with the athletic director who was the assistant principal at the time, Mr. Potter, and I had mentioned to him that these same group of students are getting together again this year.
You know, I could tell you a little story about Mr. Potter.
Oh.
I think it was probably in about 1992 that he bent over and split the seat out of his pants. So he came into my fabric arts class and asked if some girl could sew his pants up. And I said, okay, just go into the back room and I'll give you a sheet to put around you. So he did. And then he proceeded to walk around the room in the sheet while his pants were being sewn up. I don't know if I should tell
style.
that or not.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's fine. That's perfect. That's great. Well, I appreciate all of your cooperation. I know this has been very difficult for you, and I really hope that through time those scars become less painful for you.
Well, you know, I'll always have the memory because my hair has really turned gray, and I'm sure it's from the class of 1992.
Understandable. Thank you so much for your brave cooperation and your support and helping us get this message out to the community that we have a dangerous situation here.
Okay.
Thank you. Can you tell me anything about the class of 92? Any memories that you have?
I can't
Is
talk.
it, I mean, just anything at all? Just,
I can't talk about that.
I know it must be difficult for you,
it's
please.
It's too painful.
Just
I'm sorry. I just...
anything.
I can't. Oh, no. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So tell me your name.
Ben Jacobs.
What do you do here at Richland?
Counselor. I'm a counselor, and I coach baseball, the baseball team here.
Is it true that you also used to be at Carmichael at the same time that
I
these
was at
students
Carmichael.
were?
Exactly. I was at Carmichael the same year that these students came over to be ninth graders. Was the same year I became the head baseball coach here.
Okay.
And I left and went to Hanford for 4 years as counselor and came back to Richland about the time these guys left school.
Okay. I'm just gonna say this. Class of 1992. Tell me, what does that mean to you?
Class of 92, boy, I'll tell you what. There's some bad apples in that class. That thing, I'm still traumatized every time I think about the baseball team that we had there. We had some pretty good hitters. You know, I wouldn't say questionable characters, just not very smart, a lot of them. And no pitching, absolutely no pitching. Scored 15 runs. Hey, those guys in that baseball team, along with the rest of the class of 92, I've had some serious nightmares over. I mean, they've driven me to drink, heavy I might add, and don't do the drug thing. Never use drugs other than aspirin. But I found myself eating a lot more aspirin, and maybe that's after a night of drinking. Who knows? But I have a lot of nightmares on those guys.
I understand this is a very difficult topic.
I've tried to block it out of my mind. It's, you know, when you have a bad experience, you don't want to ever relive those moments with those guys. But occasionally I'll see guys like Perryman and some of the other guys in his class, and hell, I end up driving off the road if I see him coming down the road. No, not. Maybe for his driving skills, it's just another nightmare.
Let me ask you this. You, as a counselor now, is there any permanent damage that's been left here at Richland High?
For students, I don't know. Students have always seemed to be a bit screwed up since 92 left. And some of us teachers haven't been right since, you know. Getting the receding hairline, getting older, looking older, feeling a lot older. Those guys put me through pure hell. The whole class of 92.
And that's exactly why we're doing this.
When they have kids, I hope they tell their kids not to go through class and those 12 years of school in Richland like they did. I hope they can change something.
One more question. Are you aware that the same group of students are actually getting together again this year? How do you feel about that?
I don't want to be near them.
It's that fear.
I'll probably leave town. If you can let me know when they're going to be in town, I'll probably leave town.
We'll do that. Thank you so much for speaking with us.
Hey, actually,
appreciate it.
There's some good things about the class of 92, and I can't really think of them. So there are some pretty good things.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
My hat's off to those guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank
All right, can you tell me your name?
Rich McDonald.
And what do you teach here at Richland High School?
Today I teach international studies and U.S. government, and I do the mock trial program. 10 years ago, I did mainly geography and U.S. history.
And do you feel that your teaching in particular impacted certain students of that year?
Oh, it impacted many students of that year.
In a positive way?
I hope so.
Okay.
One of the things I did 10 years ago is take students to Europe. Guess what? 10 years later, I'm still taking students to Europe. And now, finally, maybe some of you can afford to go. You want to have a wonderful time? Remember OSPO? You know, gymnastics, all that kind of stuff? We still do that. OSPO got so old, though, he retired. He's living in Europe right now. He's also the courier when we go on the trip. Next week, on Tuesday, I'll be in Zurich, Switzerland. OSPO and I will get together, and we'll have a few girls that'll probably have a gymnastics background. What do we do with them? Among other things, on top of the Eiffel Tower, we flip them all. Literally. Backflips, side aerials. We push tourists out of the way and let them go 1,200 feet up in the air. And we do parasailing in the Mediterranean. We spend usually 2 or 3 days in Nice in the Mediterranean, and also Venice in Italy. We always go to London and Paris because those are kind of the 2 favorite cities of most students and adults. We take many adults now, even antique people in their upper 20s like you guys. Hey, by the way, I'm still that guy from New York with funny accent. I still pronounce things in that somewhat awkward way, you know, like you saw it. I come from Toity-Toyd and Broadway in the Bronx and Brooklyn. I still love what I do. I still enjoy being at Richland High School. When I want to tick people off, I call it Rye High. They don't like that around here. But being from New York, I don't really care one way or another. But my kids now go to, one of them's at Richland High School, one goes to Chief Joe. So I'm kind of become a Richlandite like the rest of you. We kind of all glow in the dark sometimes.
That's just too bad. I'm so sorry to hear that.
One of the students I do remember is Matt Newton. You remember that skinny guy? The guy with the smile all the time on his face? He actually got through high school. He got through college. What is he doing now? He's issuing tickets for the Kennewick Police Department. Come on, give me a break. Couldn't he do something better than issue tickets? People he went to school with and drank with, got drunk with? Come on, this is the Newton family. Get real. Less and less of the teachers are still here at Richland High School. But one of them that's still around is Ben Jacobs. Can you believe that he's really a counselor? Did he really fool you 10, 12 years ago? You know, this is a wood shop teacher that couldn't even put the wood together with the hammer. And I remember when I started teaching at Carmichael Junior High, and Jacobs was there. And all he did was party, 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 just like he was a high school senior. He's gotten a little older. He's still thin, something I can't say. I eat too much. Unfortunately, I show it. Hey, I wish all of you the best in your future years. Have a wonderful life 10 years after graduation.
Are you being serious with those guys?
I had fun.
And what is your name?
My name is Mrs. Gonzalez.
And you love teaching, don't you?
I think so.
You were always a very easygoing teacher, and the students always saw you as laid back. Is that true?
Probably.
Through our investigations, we have recovered documents that connect you with a national undercover teacher coalition, and it names you as one of the top undercover agents reporting chaotic and unruly students. Is that correct?
Get out. Salga de
But
aquí.
you
Fuera.
need to answer the question.
Fuera. Salga. Afuera.
Please answer the
Afuera.
question.
Salga de la clase. Ahora mismo.
But-
Salga.
Can you tell me your name, sir?
My name is Charlie Bussman.
And what do you teach here at Richland High?
Right now I teach psychology and sociology. I'm in the behavioral sciences department.
And were you also here in 1992?
I think so. That's pretty far. 10 years? Yeah, I believe I was, yes.
And how has your personal life been affected by that year?
You know, the more I think about it, and now that I see one of my former students, it's been pretty hard to recover from that year. I had some exceptional students, but there were some students that went way beyond what the typical student would do. I'm still trying to recover. It's been really tough.
I understand. You know, I know this is difficult for you. Please take your time. What is it like right now discussing these events that occurred over 10 years ago?
Well, you know, I think over the last couple of years I've been able to recover from the trauma. You know, I've had a lot of psychological training, but now that this subject matter has come up again, and once again I see some of the people, or one of the people that I experienced some time with in 1992, I find myself really traumatized, and I think I'm going to have to go home today and try to recover any way I can.
Well, sir, I do humbly apologize for any emotional distress we have caused you today. We are in search of answers.
Well, I hope you get some, because a lot of the students that graduated in 92 really need some answers.
Thank you. Excuse me, are you Mr.
Whoa,
Deathridge?
whoa, yes,
I just have a couple
How'd you
questions.
find me?
We've done some investigation. We'd like to ask you a couple questions about the class of 92.
This is unreasonable. I have to answer a thing. I have my lawyer.
We're just doing an investigation.
Can I make a phone call? I just want to make one phone call.
We just have a couple questions for you in regards to how the...
I don't want to talk about Perryman, okay? Whatever you do, don't talk about Perryman.
We just
And
have a
Hovind.
couple...
If I ever see Hovind, it's done.
I just have a couple...
I've said too much.
I know that this is difficult for you in the trauma.
I looked in the annual. This is the most unmemorable class of all, except for, and I can't say their names because I just can't.
I just appreciate a few minutes of your time.
No.
When we questioned state officials, they had no comments regarding the upcoming gathering of these same students. The staff had made numerous attempts to try and prevent this exact moment. Yet is it possible all their efforts will be in vain? What will the impact be to these staff members who have suffered and endured these years of torment? Is it possible that all one can do in such times is pray and hope? Good night.